here, our focal question will be, why doesn't the thing with its properties, the object, correspond to its concept or criterion to be self-identical or non-contradictory? Also, explain the result of perception, the new object, the unconditioned universal. First, a summary. The thing, with its properties, universals, is a contradiction and not self-identical, since it is both one and many at the same time. I first perceive, e.g., salt, as one, but then I perceive its many properties, white, cubical, tart, which I am forced to attribute to myself as my reflection. It is white to my eyes, tart to my tongue, etc. Since the thing is self-identical, I am not. But the thing is one only as opposed to others. But as a sheer one, it is just like all the others. So it needs properties to be distinguished from others, hence to exist. So the thing is really many or has these properties. Thus the aspect of the one I now regard as coming from myself, as my reflection. But now I see that both the thing and myself are one and many. Both myself and the thing are reflected into themselves. But as both one and many, the thing, reality, is again contradictory. The way out is to say its one aspect is essential, while its many aspect is unessential. But this doesn't help. The thing as one has an essential feature that is unique and distinguishes it from all others. But by this very feature, the thing is demolished. For by being related to other things, I am not them, it is continuous with them and dependent on them, and thus forfeits its being. For it is for itself, or independent, only insofar as it is not in relation with others outside itself. This is expressed by saying the thing is both for itself and for another at the same time. This unity of the two, which are thoughts, Hegel calls the unconditioned universal, which is now the true object of consciousness, or is reality. As with sense certainty, the dialectic of perception has three moments. But first, three preliminary points. 1. The result of sense certainty is the universal. This means that being contains negation in it. The universal this, or now, is not day, not night, not 9 a.m., etc. Hence, negation, in its many forms, will be with us to the end. It also means that the new object, the thing, which is one thing or an individual, will also be in contradiction with its universal aspect, its properties. That is, the universal and individual are in an opposition which will become at the end that of being for itself and being for another, and will become a unity Hegel will call the unconditioned universal. In short, perception will do all it can to avoid this contradiction, to prevent its object, the thing, reality, the truth, from being contradictory or having opposite aspects. But in the end, it fails. Consciousness will learn that it is contradiction, the unity of opposites, That is the true nature of reality, or what is, which Hegel will also call infinity. 2. It is important to keep in mind that there is a difference between the result of a given shape of consciousness or knowledge stance and how the new knowledge stance initially views and takes up this result and the new object. Simply put, the new knowledge stance, e.g. perception, will always begin from immediacy or the most rudimentary understanding of the result. Only at the end of its dialectical experience will it attain a full grasp of the result. Will it know what we, the phenomenologists, initially know? What is initially for us or in itself will also be for it. 3. Therefore, as regards perception, the result of sense certainty was the universal. Hence, the I, the subject, and the object both prove to be universals, hence essential. But for perception itself, it is only the object, the thing, that is essential, or the essence, and not also the I, or act of perceiving, the pointing out of the aspects of the perceived self-same thing. The object is the stable aspect, the act of perceiving, the unstable and unessential aspect, equally capable of getting it right, apprehending the thing correctly, or getting it wrong, and liable to deception. Hegel begins to define the truth, the object, which perception claims to know, as follows. Quote, because the result of sense certainty is a mediated universal, the object must express this mediated nature in its own self. This it does by showing itself to be the thing with many properties. The wealth of sense knowledge belongs to perception, not to immediate certainty, for which it was only the source of instances. For only perception contains negation, that is, difference or manifoldness within its own essence. End quote. Thus, the thing with many properties has 3 moments. It is an exclusive and excluding one, an inclusive universal medium of many sensuous universal properties, and the many properties themselves, which connect the one and the also. The precise problem here is that the properties are positive and negative. That is, the thing is first a universal medium, and also thinghood, in which many properties, sensuous universals, interpenetrate without affecting each other. Hegel's example is a cube of salt. Just as with the universal single here of sense certainty, we have a single here of salt in which the properties, whiteness, tartness, cubicalness, etc., all coexist and interpenetrate. None has a different here than the others. The salt is white, also tart, also cubical, etc. This is the positive aspect of the properties. The negative aspect is this. Properties cannot be indifferent to each other, because to be a property, white, tart, it must be determinate. This, not that. Hence, must exclude, be opposed to, or negate other properties. Hence, properties cannot be in the universal medium, but must be outside it, as Hegel says. Quote, "The medium is not merely an also and indifferent unity, but a one as well, a unity which excludes an other. The one is the moment of negation, a simple relation of self to self, which excludes or negates an other, and is that by which thinghood is determined as a thing." The criterion or standard here is self-identity or self-sameness. The thing as the true must be non-contradictory. Thus, the problem and downfall of perception as genuine knowledge is the impossibility of reconciling the thing's three contradictory moments of one, also, and properties, e.g., of it being a one and a many at the same time. The dialectic's three moments are that of the object, perception as just pure apprehension; that of the object and subject, one, perception as both pure apprehension and reflection into itself; and that of the object and subject, two. The object is not true as self-identical, but as contradictory aspects, one and many properties being for itself and being for another.